Hello everyone, it is your favorite kind of punch, Mr.FalconPunch 996, the underrated king, the recommendation master, and of course YouTube's #1 Dorohedoro fanboy, back to bring you guys another new video. And today I'm going to be doing another thing I haven't done in a while, which is a full series anime review. And today I'll be reviewing Airmaster. Airmaster is a 27 episode action comedy shonen anime from 2003, based on the manga of the same name by Shibatsu Yokosaru, and was produced by Toei Animation and directed by Nishio Daisuke, who has worked as a director for many shonen classics such as Dr. Slump, Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball Z, including a couple of the series' many movies and TV specials, as well as One Piece and the Young Cases of Young Kendachi. The story of Airmaster is pretty simple. It's about Ai Kawamaki, who was once a great gymnast. However, she finds her true calling in the art of street fighting, and uses her skills as a form of gymnast to combine both grace and power to kick some serious ass, which earns her the nickname Airmaster. As the name Airmaster spreads throughout the streets, fighters from all over come to get a piece of the action, and that is pretty much the story for this series. Airmaster is basically a bunch of fights strung together with a very thin plot, though to be fair, towards the end of the series there is a sort of tournament arc, though the tournament itself is nothing too special. There are also a couple comedy focused episodes with bits of action every now and then to shake things up. However, the series is mainly non-stop fighting. By now you might be thinking Airmaster is nothing more than a mindless action shonen series, and you know what? You are absolutely right. The thing is, Airmaster knows it's a mindless action shonen and never tries to be anything different, which is admirable, though it could have ended better, seeing as the last episode sort of left the impression that there was supposed to be more, but never came. Which is why for story, Airmaster gets a 6 out of 10, as it's a pretty average shonen story with a bunch of fights. However, with the very little plot it has, it does manage to make everything fit. Plus, you gotta love a series that stays true to itself. As you guys can already assume, when it comes to the special features for this series, Airmaster prides itself with its action, because, well, after all, that's like 95% of this frickin' series. Sure, the fights could have been done a bit better, which I'll go more in depth on later when I talk about the animation, but for the most part, they were really fun to watch. One of the greatest features of the series' action is its creativity with the characters' fighting styles. Street fighting and aerobatics make for a deadly combo. However, there's also bike kung fu and an original kooky punch, as well as many others. That being said, while there are a bunch of cool fights in this series, the only ones that are actually really memorable are Maki's first fight in the series with a luchador and a tag team wrestling match that happens in the middle of the series. While action is the main focus of Airmaster, there's also a good amount of comedy sprinkled throughout the series. It may not be the absolute greatest, but it gets the job done. It mainly consists of the sometimes airheaded actions of Maki, or the antics she gets herself into with her friends and rivals, and even your typical boob jokes, which feeds into the series' occasional fan service moments. And while I'm at it, this series does have quite a few weird moments, which for those who've watched this series will already know what I'm saying. Though getting back on track, for special features, Airmaster gets a 7 out of 10 for having plenty of creative and great action aided with a nice dash of comedy, though more memorable fights would have been more appreciated. When it comes to characters, Airmaster is severely lacking. Sure, I wasn't expecting a whole bunch of great character development or anything like that going into this series, but the characters for this anime aren't really anything special. While Maki sounds like a unique character given her backstory, she really is like your typical hot-blooded and airheaded shonen lead, only with big boobs and a miniskirt. While she isn't a totally bad character, it is a bit disappointing that the anime never really did much for her character. However, Maki's friends are probably the weakest link of this anime, as they're either useless or just plain annoying. Going down her list of friends, we have Mina, or as I like to call her, Miss Lesbian Cow Tits. Whose only purpose in the series is to shake her gigantic boobs, be a damsel in distress, or serve as an overly attached lover for Maki. Then we have Renge. Ugh, how I hate Renge. She's just this annoying little imp creature that does nothing but talk loud and eat. And oh my god, there's more of them. Someone kill that shit with fire. Also, we have these two, whose names I forget, but it doesn't really matter since this anime wouldn't have been really different if they were in it or not. Though, to be fair, at least they weren't as annoying as Mina or Renge. Other notable characters characters include supermodel wannabe and fighter Sakiyama Kaori, who is also Maki's rival, and pretty much, well, a bitch. Though she does have her badass moments and is a pretty good rival for Maki. Also, we have Sakamoto Julieta, who's really the only character who stands out because Julieta is one badass, hoe-kicking playboy with an uncontrollable thirst for Maki, which leads to some questionable scenes.
お前、処女だろ。
何？
ごめんな、突然で。
何？
It's raping time!
Despite that, he remains to be one of the most memorable characters in the series for me, which is kinda sad since he doesn't get much spotlight at all. There are many other characters in the series, but despite their unique fighting styles, they just weren't too memorable. Which is why for characters, Airmaster gets a 5.5 out of 10. As they're not exactly the greatest cast of characters out there. Sure, they're not all as annoying or useless as Maki's friends, but they all could have been done a lot better. Especially for Maki, who had the potential to become something pretty interesting or unique. Though we at least have Julieta. Next up we have the animation and art style for Airmaster. Now, Airmaster isn't the greatest looking anime series around, and many of the character designs may not be for everyone's liking. However, they're not as bad as most people make them out to be, and are pretty unique in certain aspects. Well, at least most of them. Animation is also pretty good. Sure, it's not the type of animation to make your jaw drop, but it gets the job done. It helps bring out the crazy styles of fighting this series features, though it could have been a bit more fluid. So animation and art style for Airmaster get a 7 out of 10. Moving on, we have the soundtrack and voice acting for Airmaster. The soundtrack was composed by Hirano Yoshihisha, who's worked on the soundtracks for Death Note, the 2011 Hunter x Hunter series, as well as Hajime no Ippo Challenger and Rising. Now if you watch any of those animes, you can tell this guy enjoys using his orchestral tracks, and Airmaster is no different, as it does feature quite a few of them. The soundtrack overall fits this series well, as it does bring out the intensity of the fights with tracks such as Fightphilia and Dynamis, as well as bring out the more comedic or dramatic scenes with tracks like Hanging Around and Agitation. However, the thing about the soundtrack is that there isn't really much to listen to outside the anime itself. While the character themes are well done, as well as some other tracks, there really isn't a ton of tracks to listen to personally. However, both the opening and ending songs are awesome. The opening, Retsu no Mataki by Japahari Net, is a more rockish song that I actually listen to a lot and fits the series very well. And the ending song, Rolling 1000 Tune by Maximum the Hormone, is also really good and pretty energetic for ending, and really gets you pumped up for the next episode. Voice acting in Airmaster is decent. While there isn't really a standout performance, it still is pretty good, with Pakuromi sounding like your typical shonen hero with an occasional feminine touch. Joy Mika does a good job in portraying the hot-bloodedness of Sakiyama Kaori, which is pretty surprising considering most of her roles are for more calm-natured characters. And Hiroshi Kinyu brings out the cool creepiness of Sakamoto Julieta. There is a dub for this series, however I can't find it anywhere, which I guess is okay considering that I've only heard negative things about it, so soundtrack and voice acting for Airmaster get a 7 out of 10. Now the last segment of this review comes to my entertainment with the series. Now Airmaster isn't a great series in a critical sense, however it's simply an entertaining series that knows exactly what it is. The anime would have done better for itself if certain characters were left out and others got more screen time, or even just more memorable fights. However, I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy the series all the way through, and in the end, isn't that what anime is all about? Which is why for entertainment, Airmaster gets an 8 out of 10. Well, with that, it's time for me to get all the scores given out throughout this review and calculate them into one final score. Alright, with the calculations done, Airmaster gets a 6.7 out of 10. Airmaster overall is a better than your average action series with a load of flaws, but makes up for it with unique fights and the right kind of spirit. And before I officially end this review, let's do some recommendations. If you want a series with tons of badass and unique martial arts action, then try Baki the Grappler. Like Airmaster, it does lack in a lot of areas, however it does more of the story, well at least for the first season, and there are more likable characters. Plus, it's manly as fuck. This guy is 13 years old. Manliness. Then there's also Kakto Bijin Wulong, which I actually have not seen for myself. However, from what I've heard of this series, there is plenty of action with little substance revolving around a kick-ass female lead. And with that, it's time to wrap up this video. As always, I am Mr.FalconPunch 996. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out my Facebook page, as well as check out my collab channel Chexford, link down below. And if you haven't done any of that yet, you will be Falcon Punch in the face, so you better do it. And I'll see you guys next time.